Welcome to the New Chemist podcast Think Tank series. In this series, we're going to be consolidating the ideas of laureates, investors, thought leaders, and physicians. Episode 1. What if we had correlation loops, as we have causal loops in system dynamics? A possible nexus? Today's topic is thinking forward, ideation for the next. So as we proceed in this series, as mentioned earlier, we're going to discuss the ideas of laureates, investors, thought leaders, and physicians. So the laureates for today. In 1901, the Nobel Prize laureate in chemistry was Jacobus van Hoff. Jacobus van Hoff was born in 1852 and died in 1911. He was the first Nobel laureate in chemistry and received the award for his work with the discovery of the laws of chemical kinetics and the laws governing the osmotic pressure of solutions. His achievements include the Nobel Prize and co-founding and co-editing the first scientific journal of physical chemistry. His PhD dissertation was a document that proposed models of organic molecules and added to the toolkit for the conceptual development with organic chemistry. He helped with the development of chemical thermodynamics and with the establishment of PV equals IRT, and led the way in physiochemical research, establishing the relationship between ideal gases and dilute solutions. He was a leader in the field of chemistry, and some of his leading publications involve the arrangements of atoms in space and physical chemistry in the service of the sciences. Moving right along, let's discuss Emil Fischer. He was born in 1852, died in 1919. He was the second Nobel Prize laureate. And also, he led the way in reaction chemistry and pedagogy. We know of Fischer when it comes to carbohydrate structures, Fischer esterification, and several other things. He was a leader in the field, and his thesis reported on the chemistry of dyestuffs and colors. We can learn from Fischer that even with challenges in life, greatness can be achieved. His work includes multiple publications and being a master of organic chemical investigation regarding systematic thinking, analyzing, and reactivity. Let's keep jumping along. 1903, Svante Arrhenius, born in 1859, died in 1927. He was the third Nobel Prize laureate and received the prize for his work on the theory of electrolytic dissociation. He was a leading scientist, establishing definitions in acid-base chemistry, the Arrhenius definition, which centered around the formation of hydrogen ions. Serving most of his life as a physical chemist, he led with book publications and journals and served as a director for the Nobel Institute for Physical Chemistry in Sweden. A leader extraordinaire, Svante Arrhenius. So let's keep moving forward. We talked about the laureates, let's talk about the investors. It's all about the long term. Jeff Bezos, in his book, Invent and Wonder, he characterizes and itemizes and also lays out his partnership letters. He is a leader in the field of investing and ideation, it's established. He has also served as the leader in the field of invention. And his approach for the long term has a lot of takeaways, reading that chapter. He seeks to create value, and he has become well established in large markets, with long-term profitability as a focus and good capital management as the goal and aim. Seeking to observe, respect, and improve metrics has led to customer and revenue growth, along with his strategic thinking has resulted in the company expanding and receiving stronger returns on capital. Grateful for his work, the New Chemist company also serves as a partner with Amazon Web Services. Now, let's narrow in. John Maxwell, in his book Intentional Living, highlights key ideas such as the power of the narrative in self-discovery, development of ambition, and interpersonal connections. He shows how pragmatic thinking, passion, existential reason, altruism, and synergy through adding value to people provides the impetus for success and seizing opportunities. John Maxwell is a leader in the field of leadership development and highlights how significant purpose exists in every human being. Intention and action are critical halves that complete the whole for growth. Growth mindsets are useful. Self-discovery is essential. Altruism must be intentional. Personal skills and acumen allow for synergy. Similar aspirations and mindsets bode well for progress. Healthy expectations and hope for realism are good lenses for life. Urgency is essential for seizing opportunities, and conveyance of self-discovery narratives are beneficial. Now, let's discuss the physician for today, Frederick Flack. A leading psychiatrist, he highlights how resilience can be developed and grown like a muscle. And typically, resilience is homeostatic, involving construction and deconstruction. He states there are certain resilient personality traits: creativity, the ability to tolerate pain, insight into ourselves and what we are going through at any particular phase in our lives, independence of spirit, self-respect, the ability to restore self-esteem when it is diminished or temporarily lost, the capacity for learning, the ability to make and keep friends, freedom to depend on others with a skill to set proper limits on the depth of our dependency, a perspective on life that offers a vital evolving philosophy within which we can interpret all that we experience and from which we can discover some measure of personal meaning. So let's put all these ideas together. All of these things come together in a good soup. I wouldn't phrase it as a linear combination of ideas or thought, but I would say these are different lenses that we can use as we seek to better understand how to develop as successful scientists and successful persons. So how do all of these Pandora beads connect? What is the intellectual thought that serves as the bracelet? It comes in a form such as this. Success from a historical perspective within these contexts, from these readings, is a long-term investment with significant milestones along the way. Some have said that the price for success involves an interest rate of evaluated and non-repeating failure. Iterative in nature, from the three chemistry laureates to the investor, the thought leader, and psychiatrist, we come to understand that long-term success requires a culture of resilience, both personally and externally. Resilience in learning, thinking, achieving, and resilience in adjusting to the challenges that companies and laureates such as Emil Fischer experienced in his personal life, losing his wife after 7 years of marriage and 2 of his sons in World War I. Life brings challenges. It brings challenges. That is self-evident. But how we approach them affects the outcomes, both temporal and otherwise. Hopefully this helped. The goal is to synthesize information that is seminal and produce a distilled series of thoughts, questions, ideas, and summaries. So this is the New Chemist podcast Think Tank series. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for listening. We're glad you were able to tune into this podcast. Once again, this is the New Chemist, where we discuss chemistry, which simply put is the science of change, as well as the other sciences, careers, community, research, and COVID-19. Thanks again for listening. Note, the views on this podcast represent those of my guests and I.